All right, y'all. Bearded Bros Golf Show. Back at it for another week. We are one day delayed. I guess we had to get out of the way of the NFL playoffs. I'm Rod,
And I'm Marcus.
and also doing the show on the road, at least for me. Marcus in the pro shop at Wildcat. I'm in a hotel room in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but you wouldn't believe it from my background. So we're making this thing happen. Um, scrapping it out, just showing up for these
Getting
for
it
you
done.
guys every single week. We're dedicated to this thing.
Locked.
Um, locked and loaded. So weird weekend golf, man. I don't know. I'm feeling some kind of way about where things are going. It's just hard to know where the golf world is headed. I don't know how to fully encapsulate my thoughts from the first 4 weeks of the PGA Tour season. We have Live starting up this week as well, so we'll get into it all. So let's jump off with the Farmers Insurance Open. We have a PGA Tour rookie, 31 years old, Matthieu Pavon, winning for the first time. He got his first, real professional win on the DP World Tour just last year. So a little bit of a late bloomer. He's been grinding it out about 7 years on the DP World Tour, winless. Scrapped it out at the end on Sunday. Got out of the rough and secured his win with the birdie putt on 18. What'd you think of the guy winning? Out of nowhere, kind of to a certain degree.
Oh yeah, I mean, from what I saw from the farmers insurance, it was just a bunch of I don't know. It was real weird to tell who was going to pull it out because everybody seemed to get ahead by a little bit, then have a bad hole, come right back to the field and everything like that. So it was a weird time, but I mean, he clutched up on 18 though when he needed to hit a nice little shot in, made it over the water out of a real scratchy lie, and then poured in that putt end over end like it was nothing. I mean, the pressure was on because Hoygaard drove the green, had an eagle putt, so you knew he was at least gonna make birdie. Especially after that good lag he had from about 40 feet or so, lagged it to underneath the hole, left to right, or maybe 2 feet or so, or inside that. So you know he was going to get to 12. So he kind of put the onus on him to just go ahead and make the putt, not have to worry about the playoff, and he did that. And one thing I like about Pavon is he already knows where he's at as far as it goes for French golf and things like that. He's still second fiddle to Celine Boutier. They still know who's the cream of the crop out there, and he gave her credit and gave her flowers and everything like that. She's had got a major first. She's who we're all chasing as far as French golfers go. So glad that he could see past barriers and know what was up as far as it goes with gamemanship and as far as just the talent in golf. So good on him either way.
Yeah. It was an interesting leaderboard just because there weren't a lot of stars threatening on Sunday, at least ones that we're used to
Right.
seeing their names, which is an interesting dynamic that we're now dealing with this tour season that we are seeing names and winners that we are either becoming becoming familiar with or have had a resurgence. When you look at a Chris Kirk, a Grayson Murray. These are guys who
Hmm.
are blast from the past. Chris Kirk kind of started his return path back last year. So, and then we have Nick Dunlap winning last week, and so we're getting all these kind of interesting lineups. Again, there was no shortage of star players that started the Farmers Insurance, but a lot of missed cuts out there. Morikawa missed the cut. Finau was kind of just scratching it out all week. It was an interesting lineup. So I'm very curious how this is all going to shake out with Liv kind of poaching consistently, and are we just reshuffling the deck? The one thing that I wanted to kind of look at in all of this is, are we seeing a dramatic change in the scores and kind of finishing compared to, let's say, the last couple of years? And the truth is we're not. So 13 under won the Farmers Insurance last year, same thing this year. Um,
Hmm.
American Express with John Rahm, last year he won it at 27 under. Nick Dunlap won it at 29 under. So an actual increase on the overall kind of quality of play. So it's very interesting how, again, you'll, depending on what side of the aisle you stand on, whether PGA Tour or Live, if you're a Live guy or gal, you're going to say that PGA Tour's falling off, right? Their talent's missing, and we're taking it all over here, but the scores aren't necessarily holding up to show that we're seeing a definitive drop off in play. What do you think about that aspect? Do you see a lack of quality golf out there, or do you just think we're going to have to get used to this new normal?
Uh, I mean, the courses aren't changing. We're still playing the same courses. I mean, the course setup is still the same. They're not growing the rough out any further or any shallower. The course conditions, unless they are have already been notified, which we always keep up with via the PGA Tour app or whatever it may be, whether they're renovating a course and then bringing it back to lengthen it, shorten it, renovate the greens and stuff like that. So I think it's just a lot of hum about nothing. I mean, the courses are still going to play the same. So the people that are going to rise to the top are still going to be shooting these super good numbers. And I mean, that's one thing that you have to realize is whether these people are going over to the other tour or not, the people that are there are still going to be there to shoot scores and try to make a name for themselves. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think the real thing that we got to dig into here is the youth. The youth movement is there. It's going to be here for a while, and we're just looking for a few more people to rise to the top and be labeled a star or somebody that's going to be trying to move the needle. So whether that be an interesting swing, a guy that's just the ball sounds different when he hits the ball, things like that. So I think we're still searching for that. It's going to be a search, and I think it's going to be a good thing for golf. It's gonna open the game back up for let's watch it more to see who can come to the top. We're not watching,
Yeah,
we're not hate watching to see how much somebody's gonna beat the field by, or how many times he's gonna win in a season, or how many majors he's gonna get. We're love watching it so we can figure out who's our new fan favorite that we're gonna be watching and who we're gonna be
right.
following behind and giving me an excuse to go to this tournament, or I'm gonna be in the city at this time, let me check out this crowd. So I think it's honestly, I think it's going to be a positive thing with the score staying the same and some of the people defecting to a different tour. Just going to be a youth movement that's going to show us who we need to be following next.
Yep. As far as we know right now, still business as usual with young guys still pursuing the PGA Tour as their main route, and even some of the guys from overseas coming over and seeing an opportunity. Right. So Pavon is a wonderful example. Grounded out on the DP World Tour to get his
Mm-hmm.
PGA Tour card at the end of last year, and here he is a winner. Right. And with
Yeah.
with really simple dreams, right? All he said at the end was he knew he was gonna go eat at Nobu that night, get him a nice
Right.
meal, and then go play Pebble Beach this week, which is interesting because kind of circling back around full circle from where we kind of started this show around this time last year, which I think Pebble's coming up, right on time, right around our year anniversary of when we began this thing. And we were talking about how the field was down. They had a Monday finish due to weather last year with Justin Rose pulling it out. And we were saying, okay, man, Pebble has lost its luster. You're not getting the same amount of people the same quality of people showing up. And, what did they do? They turned it into an elevated event. So we are going to see those big names this week. And I think this will be a really good test to see how that youth movement does bear out. Top of the lineup, you got Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Victor Hovland, Xander Schauffele, Jordan Spieth, Patrick Cantlay, Max Homa, Colin Morikawa. To stop me when I say a name you don't know, Ludwig Aber, Justin Thomas, Tony Finau, Sam Burns, Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, Cam Young, Jason Day, Sung J M, Tom Kim. Names go on and on, right? So we're gonna see the big name stars out there in the field. And so, like you said, we'll point to the youth movement and see if they can actually compete and if this is a legit or if we're just seeing some interesting results as a result of the talent leak. You can't take anything away from it. When people leave that have talent and have won on the tour before, you can't ignore that. But again, there's always someone out here trying to live their dream and step up in their place. So it'll be an
Definitely.
interesting week this week.
There's
Um,
always
that
somebody
kind of
hungry to pick up the crumbs, regardless.
You ain't lying. There's money out here to be made, and people that have big game. So before we get into too far away from the men's game, Anthony Kim, man. So timing, we both started playing the game around late 2011, 2012, full on 2012. Just
Hmm.
started really hitting it hard. So the last time that Anthony Kim, teed it up on the PGA Tour, we were just getting into the game. We did not see peak version of Anthony Kim, and so of course the rumors have been bouncing around for a couple of years. They'll kind of just get drummed up off the bottom of the barrel every couple of years, but this seems to be the most legitimate shot that we get to see him try this thing again at the tour. The interesting part, and we kind of joked about this kind of in DMs, is that we're never really hearing directly from Anthony Kim. It's always
Right.
someone in his camp, a good friend, a rumor here or there. I have a video queued up that everybody probably saw if you have social media, but you come to find out that that video wasn't very fresh. It's a few years old. So I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to get your thoughts on the other side of this. Pure move, man.
Still a pure move.
And this was the part that I'm looking forward to him coming back. I'll say one last thing as I have this paused. So he was known for these big belt buckles, bedazzled and just kind of that swag. You can even see from that clip of him swinging the club. Dude's just got that natural swagger about him. And I think
Oh
that's one of
yeah.
the things that golf has struggled with is finding somebody that translates outside of the world of golf nerds, right? So we can appreciate a Tiger for the artistry of what she brings to the game, but from a personality standpoint, Tiger never really gave you any quotables or,
Right.
he did have the swag as well with his competitors and just kind of staring them down, but nothing to the effect of Anthony Kim. So I'm going to pull this down and want to hear your thoughts on this, the rumors, and are you looking forward to actually seeing him out on the course again?
Yeah, I mean, always looking forward to seeing Anthony Kim back out on the course. I mean, just like we said, just a ball of full of joy. I mean, always energetic, always very passionate from the clips that we've seen. Of course, not current. Just throughout like the '08 Ryder Cup when they pulled it out that year. Just a fun-loving guy that you want to be around. Feel like he's very magnetizing with his presence, which is wild to me because he has a very close-knit group of homies and a girlfriend or a wife and a family that is either paid very handsomely to just shut up and stay in the background, or they just know what it is and they know, like, look, we can't even really speak on it because we don't know. But I mean, all in
Yeah,
all, the thing with Anthony Kim is it's like he's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like a scene out of John Wick. John Wick could be PGA, whatever you want to call it. We're looking for that extra little bit of help, and here comes this freaking half semi homeless looking guy. He just pulls his cloak up and opens it up, and he's like, "I'm here. What's up?" Like that's what I feel like Anthony Kim is gonna pull into the next time he suits it up for the pro game. Now, again, what we've talked about via DMs is if you know anything about the game of golf and anything about Anthony Kim is the whole insurance policy. We really need to. I mean, I don't even know if we need to divulge into it because it's just a real slippery slope. But as soon as he touches clubs professionally, bro got to give up on that 10 mil that he just freely got.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy to me that he had that much locked
The
in.
the rumored amounts were the policy was worth somewhere between 10 and 20 million. I'm not
Yeah,
sure, if that extra 10 came in somewhere down the road, and this is tax-free money, so he was getting that 10 mil just straight cash.
Right.
But as you just
Unadulterated,
mentioned,
unfiltered.
if the stipulation in that was that this was an injury based insurance policy, that if he laced it up, got back on the links, that he was going to give up that policy and needed to repay any funds that he had received at that point. So, the PGA Tour, it's meritocracy. You got to go earn it, and you got to go put up some numbers. They're not, that we know of, giving
Yeah,
anybody any guaranteed money to go play on the PGA Tour. We know that's a different
facts.
scenario when you're talking live. However, for live and kind of the rumors on that side, as I've been watching their little Twitter side and rumors and the guys that come up with stuff on their side of things, is that Liv looks at Anthony Kim as an unknown commodity, right? None of us have really seen him recently, and would they make him go
Yeah,
through a tryout to validate, like, hey, I still got it? But what you do on the range, as we saw from that clip, that could be one thing, and then getting out on the course and playing under pressure is a whole different beast.
right.
So it might be even though, again, he's going to move the needle if their idea is
Facts.
to get eyes on the product. Even if it's just for a couple weeks, people are going to tune in to see their product. We know that they're very ratings based, or at least buzz based. So I don't know, man. I just want to see it. I want to see one of golf's athletes and just kind of different type of personalities that we've not seen here recently come out and get a chance to live the last part of his career out. He is 38 at this point. So is he an old man by any stretch? No, he's younger than me. And clearly that golf talent is still there.
Yeah,
Something that once you got it, you got it, man. His injury at the time was like a torn, I want to say not ACL, but I think it was maybe an Achilles. It was a lower leg injury. And so, here we are 12 years
yeah,
down the line. Easily could have recovered from that. Ton of rehab. He's had the resources to do so. I want to see it
definitely.
happen. I want to see it happen, man. And I know little Bilt Buckles might be out of style, but I want to see. I wouldn't mind somebody coming out with some kind of just extra
Buddy, that's why
that we
he's
don't
still in
see.
Texas, man. They love that shit here.
Yeah.
Good old
Uh,
Belco.
Good old Bilt Buckle. Yeah, I think he's out in Dallas actually. So
He is.
shout out
He's
to
like
him
north side. He's
for.
in that rich part.
Yep. All right. So moving on, Lexi Thompson. She comes up twice in our um, you know, topics this week. So this past week, it was rumored, not rumored, but confirmed that she left Bridgestone Golf, a golf ball that you play, pretty routinely, to
Yep.
go over to MaxFly, which they've been coming out with a ton of tour balls that have been highly rated, particularly by My Golf Spy, who does a ton of golf ball testing year after year. Which just a quick little shout out. Kirkland balls up to this year in their testing had been rated pretty well. This year, they said that performance completely fell off the map in their testing. So I found that interesting from their ball results this year. But Lexi Thompson moved over to Max Fly. What do you think about it, man? I mean, I've found a couple Max Flies out on the course that I've tried to play. Probably not a ball for me. Maybe I need to try some different options. But here we have an elite LPGA pro, putting them in play. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I think one thing you do have to look at as far as like trying to find a good ball that's going to perform and get the numbers that you want, get every little ounce out of it. MaxFly is still one of those companies where they're still playing like a more game improvement type golf ball and everything like that. So probably one less core, a little bit more springy off the face, and then of course when you're going from the Bridgestone RXS, which is a slower swinging speed, and then a very compressed ball to where it's soft and squishy and things like that. The Max Fly is probably going to provide the same amount of reaction, spin, and then probably just be a little bit more firmer for her to get a little bit more spring off the face as far as like the driver goes, and then as far as the irons. I mean, she doesn't really need much more as far as distance go. I mean, she's still top three pretty much every year in driving distance, total driving. Maybe not that most accurate of golfers. Maybe that's another reason for the switch is to get a little bit more playable, get a little bit
Like a
more in
little
the
less
fairway
spin.
and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's a good move. I mean, I still think, well, I mean, of course, our Bridgestone rep came through and gave me a couple of balls. So I've tried out the new 2023 version of the BXS, and I think it's still just a phenomenal ball. I mean, if I'm not playing the Pro V1X, I'm playing the Bridgestone. And I think it's still the most complete ball, the best face, the best interaction as far as turf, spin around the green, off the tee. So I am very sad to see it go, but when your ball company is not the same as your club company, you're always looking for a perfect combination, which is what she's going to be doing with Puma not having a golf ball. I mean, it's just it is what it is. I mean, you think about TaylorMade, you think about Titleist, you think about all of our favorite brands. You can even go to Strixon. Strixon own ball, own clubs. Mizuno own ball, own clubs. I mean, all of these top brands. Then you get into Puma, and it's like, where am I going to go? That's why Ricky Fowler, one of the biggest proponents for tailor-made golf, just from playing the TP5 picks. He doesn't even play any tailor-made clubs. He plays a Odyssey
No.
putter. He used the Super Jet or whatever Cobra's using right now. Da 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 da. Then he's using the trusty Rusty Puma wedges. So again, when you're one of their tighter sponsors just off the ball alone, that's what you get when you're not with a company that has its own ball. So again, that's just kind of the things that she's going to be battling. And again, it's a lucrative deal because you get money from multiple polls. You're not sitting here worried about how much more they're going to pay me to play the ball too. I get to do whatever I want to with the
Yeah.
ball. So it's not
I
that
mean,
bad of an idea.
it's definitely a trailblazing move. So MaxFly currently is owned by Dick's Sporting Goods. Um, kind of also a golf galaxy company as well. So,
Yeah,
not often do you see a company owned by a direct to consumer brand like Dick's Sporting Goods have, professional sponsorship. So I think, of course, like most ball manufacturers, there's again this they have this tour line, Tour X, Tour S, that
yeah,
they've come out with that they're optimizing. Are there probably some tweaks in her ball? We've seen different, specialty versions of the Pro V1 that
probably
pros
playing a
play the left
prototype.
dash, the left dot, all these different variations of balls that, optimize that we won't may not see as the public. But again, a highly rated ball. And when you're getting into this premium category and we have these discussions about the golf ball
Yeah.
rollback, it's very interesting to see, again, Dick's getting in there with a pro ball. And I wonder again if golf ball technology has kind of plateaued where we're at the top of what we can do with the technology. We know things are about to go backwards. And does it allow for some alternate brands to sneak in there, maybe at a slightly different price point where you're not having to spend 50 something dollars a box, for a dozen golf balls that are premium, and maybe you can spend 35, 40, somewhere in that range to save some dollars. Again, my golf spy does a lot of ball testing. They've readily spoken highly of the Vice Pro Plus. Is the cover that durable? No, but from a performance standpoint, before the ball scuffs, it holds itself up with any pro level ball out there. So I
Mm.
think there's some things that are coming around that hopefully, from a consumer standpoint, can help save us some money. Rather than only having a handful of balls, right? When you think about it, the top line Bridgestones, the Pro V1, Pro V1X, the TP5, TP5X. Who else am I missing with the super high
Chrome
end ball?
soft. My
Yeah,
fault. I didn't
exactly.
even
Callaway
mention
Chrome Soft.
Callaway.
There's a ton of options out there, right? And it's really hard to find a poorly constructed golf ball. The
Right.
technology with golf has come so far along that you struggle to just have a crappy product out here, except for Kirkland signatures. So, um, the second mention of Lexi Thompson on our list this week is going to be the match coming up on February the 6th. We have Rory McIlroy and Rose Zhang versus Max Homa and Lexi Thompson, man.
The 6th or the 26th?
26th. Sorry if I said the 6th. February 26th. So late in February. I'm excited, actually. This is probably the best match that we've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, man? I'm excited.
Uh, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, four pros, actual pros. I mean, they're going to be under the lights again, but I mean,
Yep.
really just a matter of figuring out the ball you're going to play. Um, I mean, honestly, I think they should do for a four-man best ball. Everybody play their own ball in. Have Lexi and Rose. Honestly, I think it would be cool if they showed really what was up and everybody played the same tee boxes, but really the best that we can do is move them to comparable yardages to where even if the ladies are hitting in front of them, or the ladies will be hitting in front of them, but they'll be hitting
Yeah.
same club yard. Like, Rory
The
and Max,
equivalent.
they're gonna play their
Kind of like what they
right.
kind of like what they did with the Grant Thornton.
Yes, yes. So you're hitting a 7, I'm hitting a 7, you're hitting an 8, she's hitting an 8, same yardage. I mean, same club, different yardages. But I'm definitely
Yep.
excited. I mean, for them to go grab, first of all, Rory, second of all, Rose, third of all, Max, and then Lexi not even wanting to be on social media. That's a great get. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? All of
Yeah.
these people, like, they're sociable enough, and they're definitely people we want to hear from and hear their opinion on golf aspects and golf subjects. So for them to come out and actually buy into it, yeah, it's going to be a good look for both sides. And I think the TNT is really doing their thing with this whole deal. So I think it's something that they need to keep building momentum on.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's a good mix of personality styles, right? So Max Homa
Agreed.
is one of the rare people that they translate from social media because he's an hilarious Twitter follow. Just been out there doing his thing on social media for a while. But in person, when you see him interviewed, also does a really good job of bringing out his full personality, right? You're going to see a little
Agreed.
bit more serious stuff from Rory and Lexi. She seems to be a little bit more buttoned up, which is cool. Totally fine. And Rosang is somewhere in the middle, right? She seems pretty fun
Yeah.
loving. She's young. She's the next LPGA star. So I agree. It's an awesome to get these names out there. I was surprised with the more Rory pick just because we don't really kind of know where he's directing his career.
Yeah.
Maybe they were able to get him because the TGL league, got postponed, and he's like, hey, I can do it, right? And we know there's
Yeah.
probably some extra funds coming over from TNT, but I think it's a formidable lineup. Again, we've had some duds from the match here recently, and if the golf holds up, I don't necessarily love the under the lights thing. I think that's a bit gimmicky, but
Right.
you
I
gotta do
still
what you
don't
gotta
know
do
if
to get it
I'm
in
on
pro
the fence
time.
with it.
I
Yeah.
almost, I almost wish you'd just go over to Hawaii or something, and just so you could play it during the daytime, but still get the prime time hours on the mainland. But hey, it's just me.
Yeah. You know what? That's crazy because probably, you know what, it messes with it. The February 26th date actually probably aligns perfectly with what they have going on schedule wise as far as the tour. So they're doing it out in West Palm Beach or whatever. Let's see. End of February, they go to the Florida swing. They're coming up on the Honda and
Yep.
the Arnold Palmer Invitational and shit like that. So, LPGA, they're still in Florida too. So they're going to have a couple more events out there before they go abroad or before they go, across the country or whatnot. So, yeah, Pebble Beach Pro Am,
That's the
Genesis
week of the
Invitationals out there.
Honda
Um,
Classic. You
yeah,
know what? That's
perfect.
last
Yeah.
year. Sorry, that's last year. But whatever they're renaming it to, I think it's going to fall on that same
Oh, yeah,
week.
I know. I get what you're saying. Yeah, so Pebble Beach Pro Am. Then the week after that is the Super Bowl. So Waste Management. Then go up to LA for the Genesis. And then that'll be the last week of February, or the second to last week of February. And then they'll be in Cali or whatever. So I mean, they'll be in Florida. My apologies. So yeah, I think it'll be. It's not anything that's going to mess up their contracts or their scheduling or where they need to be at for an event. And then, of
Right.
course, with Rose, you know, part time playing pretty much this season with her fully exempt card, she's going to finish up school. So, again, just a good look all the way around. It's just a good look all the
Yeah.
way around, any way
So
you
check
look at
this
it
out.
for as of now.
Pulling up pulling up the calendar. Um, the this particular week that we're discussing, um, it seems like that's a Monday, the 26th of February, because the Honda LPGA Thailand is February 22nd through 25th. And on the PGA Tour side, that's their Mexico Championship in Vedanta. That's also running from the 22nd to 25th. So I think this thing is going to fall on a Monday. That's super
Yeah. Well, they
weird or
were,
interesting.
I mean, Sunday travel day, Monday arrival, and then Tuesday you get into your practice routine of playing a nine, and then Wednesday you play a nine, and go through your range situation and stuff. So that'll just be one day less that they have to like recoup from the week prior.
Yeah.
Now, who's to say that Rose is actually signed up for the LPGA Thailand?
I,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't think she's going. I don't think she's going overseas very much early on in the season. Maybe she
Right.
takes the Asian swing at the end of 2024, but I don't think she's doing like you said. She's doing school. We talked about that a few weeks ago, so that's going to impact her early season schedule,
Hmm.
impacting Florida, and I doubt she's going to make the trip over to Thailand just to make the trip over to Thailand. So that'll be fun. I mean, the timing seems to be a good deal. You know, you got to figure out a way to keep capitalizing and create momentum where you can, right? We've
Definitely.
I know I've seen on social media on Instagram in particular that you've been liking quite a bit of the LPGA post. I think they've been doing a really great job of keeping it consistent and keeping the
Brother,
focus
I
on
am
the
so
players.
elated. I am so elated. We are getting content galore. What did I say? We're getting slow motion swings. We're getting day in the lives. We're getting rain sessions. We're getting, thank you. The people want to see this.
I
The
know,
people
I
want to
know.
see this, bro.
I don't. I'm not
Finally.
saying anybody's watching our little bitty show over here, but they're getting it, and we've been clamoring for this. We've been asking. We said it's been a missed opportunity for LPGA to feature their ladies. They have stars. Take advantage of it. I mean, this
Please.
week you had Nelly Corda, winning the Drive On Championship, in
At the
Florida as
crib.
well this week. So again, they're featuring her. They're putting out, tons of posts with her. Saw a couple of collab posts as well. So extend your reach. Use the tools that you have in your tool kit to make the game popular. Again, I think these mixed events also help just because you see, that these talented ladies, playing next to men. I didn't even mention it earlier when we were talking about the match. And Lexi is, how well she performed out in Vegas last year. She just
Definitely.
missed the cut. But in terms of distance, she performed incredibly well. She had
Chip up.
maybe had to change the bag a little bit to accommodate, for the conditions, but kept up and can, compete with the longest out there. So shout out to the women for being good at what I mean. It's just it feels like they have not gotten their flowers, and we want to give them their flowers. So you gotta
Definitely.
let the world know you're there and present. So sliding on to our next topic, and this is just more of a live golf news and just some light commentary around it. So I think
Yeah, a
we have
little
it
update.
confirmed to a little update. I think Terrell Haddon is confirmed. Last week we had Adrian Moronk that was snubbed from the Ryder Cup this year. Highly talented player that didn't make the team, but also signed with Liv. But the interesting part to me, at least, is that Liv, through their official feeds, did not announce either one of these players as of when we started this show. I think, again, just through some strong reporting, that the Terrell Haddon signing is confirmed here, a number between 50 and 60 million. I haven't heard a number for Adrian Moronk, but their season starts this week, and we don't know what's going on with the John Rom team. But you very well are aware of what Liv deems as important or a significant signing based on their social media behavior, and they have not been talking about these two signings at all. Very interesting. What do you think about this kind of the situation? What do you think about these two signings?
I mean, when we first had this discussion, neither one of these names were on our radar for would you assume that they would go if their number was called? I don't even think they were on our radar for people that we would assume would go or not go. But I mean, Moronk, he feels scorned, he feels betrayed, so he's going to go make some money, have a good time. He'll be all right. He's got a year and a half or whatever until 2025. They're still going to be looking at the footage because by then they'll have a merger and he's going to try to make the team somehow that way, whether it be world ranking points or whether they have him still somewhere in the DP World Tour. You know, who knows how far Ping's reaches. So you never know with that. Tyrrell Hatton, same guy, same thing. Won a few times now on the PGA Tour. Really felt like he was gaining some momentum. I mean, I'm just really trying to understand why he would go away from $1 billion corporation that literally everybody was like eating up what he was doing. We loved the hot headedness. We loved his temper tantrums. We loved seeing him be a little whiny baby. So why would you not want to get that televised and get those bleeps and get those little excerpts or be with DP World Tour where you're getting interviewed at the end of the week? Even if Live Golf does anything similar to that, where they try to highlight your temper or highlight something that's going on, you're not even going to reach the same amount of coverage just based off the small imprint that Live Golf has now. So your likeness and your overall appearance is going to be changed and it's going to be diminished. And it's that light might flicker, it might go out compared to what you were doing on the PGA where you were gaining momentum and everybody was already eating up what you were doing. So again, everybody has a price, everybody has a number. So maybe they hit it and he's okay with riding off
I
into the sunset at this point.
I,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that I think that what players are feeling is that the signing or the merger or some version of a merger is coming at some point, right? So in their
Right.
minds, they're like, okay, there's going to
Take the
be a
money.
limited. I'll take the money right now. There's going to be a limited penalty, in terms of a player like him not being able to play in all the majors. I think he's going to
Right.
qualify for a handful. We'll see how the world ranking goes throughout the year. I don't think he's going to make
Yeah.
some significant drop. It usually comes after the season, of not being able to compete, on an equal
But
playing field. So I think they're taking the gamble, like, hey, I'm gonna put my status in jeopardy for a year. This merger will happen. I'll have my money secured, and then I can move on with my life and kind of go back to status quo. Because the truth is, he's one of these guys that tees it up pretty damn often, and then I don't see
right.
him necessarily like not wanting to play golf because hey, I'm older, I have a family. I think he may be married or have a significant other who's serious, but he definitely doesn't have
Married.
any kids. Yeah,
None.
and so
I
that's
just
not
looked it
his
up.
reason.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and he's clear for this year as far as majors go. Number 16 in the world, so he'll make all four or whatnot. So yeah, he's riding cool, and he thinks by the end of 2024, some will be in place, and he'll be, hey, I got a free 50 million now. I'm back seeing y'all guys. What's up? Hey,
And I'm trying
whatever,
to pull
man.
it up, but my internet, not my internet, but my I'm not signed in for some reason on my browser. So an hour ago, Liv put up a post with John Rahm's framed bearded face. Their marketing is so bad. I'm gonna keep it a buck. So talking about his team, a new team arrives, and all it's featuring is John Rahm. So we really still don't know the composition of his team. Who else is gonna, is Terrell Hadden going on that team? Is Morant going on that team? Truth be told, if that's their three, and then they throw another one of these kind of bums in there that they have kind of floating around, that's a pretty formidable team if they're going to talk about team golf at all. But again, I just it's very interesting again what they prioritize and who they choose to promote versus who they leave off to the side. So if I'm Terrell Hadden, I got to be happy with my money because they're not promoting me as if I'm a star of this league or a
Right.
valuable get for them. They're just really
Yeah.
paying me combat pay. So,
What is their
and
team name going to be? Like the International Flame or
it's
something? Morocco's angry
bro,
too? Like, what's going on?
Legion 13. Super awesome concept. Legion 13 is her name.
That's the name of the team? All right, Lane.
Yeah. Yeah. Lame. Super lame. But hey man. Again, it's early season. So for all the people that think that I hate Live, I am going to be
We're going
tuned
to
in.
see.
I'm gonna tune in. I'm gonna give it another chance every year. This is year 3 for them. They get a chance to revamp their product, bring something different to the table that is appealing. So yeah, I'm gonna be tuned in. I'm gonna find it on channel 432 and a half on
I
the
mean, as
CW.
long as you can just avoid the Jenny Jones reruns, I think we'll be able to find the coverage somewhere on there.
I, you know,
Or is CW doing
we,
cheaters now? Is Gun is it is Gun Peter
bro.
Guns? He's the host now. Is who? I don't know.
As test no, they don't have any new episodes of Cheaters. But if they came in with some Cheaters reruns, if they led into Live Golf with Cheaters reruns, you might
I'd
get
be
me
there.
like every week
I'd be there.
throughout the season.
Cheaters reruns still go crazy. 100%. 100%.
Shout out to Joey Greco and Cheaters,
For
bro.
real, the guy.
I can't, was it Tommy Gunn that was the original host?
No,
Oh, you're talking about the
dang,
guy,
who
the
was
young
it?
guy.
Yeah, the black rapper guy who was a
Okay,
who was a cheater, like a career cheater himself. Because from
okay.
there's a funny excerpt.
Well,
You know what?
okay.
Let's keep it on golf. Let's keep it on
We're
golf.
going down the early 2000s rabbit hole. Sorry, y'all. But shout out to Cheaters. Um, and other live news golf. The lovely, beautiful Troy Mullins announced that she was departing live golf after 2 years. I'll be
What?
honest.
What?
I'll be honest, man. I was kind of like looking at her with the side eye after she left, and
I
hadn't been able
unfollowed.
to. You really?
Easy
I
work.
hadn't.
Easy
I
work.
had. I hadn't been able to fully enjoy her content. One, she hadn't been as prolific about putting content out. Um, an amazing swinger of the club, an amazing physique. Honestly, just like a genuinely happy, refreshing, joyful looking person. But
Definitely.
for whatever her reasons are, she didn't really get into that of why she was leaving. But she announced her departure this week. So a lot of stuff happening with Liv. I don't know. It just feels like the most disorganized, um, operation that they have going on there from the marketing standpoint. Being late to announce a team. I'm just saying they start on Thursday. They're gonna be wrapping
Yeah.
it up. No, sorry, Friday. My bad. They do the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My fault.
Yeah,
So
when you got 3 rounds, you got to start a little later in the week.
yeah, I forgot they're not going with the Thursday to Saturday start. So yeah, I mean 4 days before the kickoff of your season, you're just putting announcements out there, very last minute. Feels interest. It's interesting. I don't know, man.
Super.
Um, it's just like, do y'all really care, or do you just want to say "F you PGA Tour"? Because that's more what it's really feeling like. I don't feel like there's a comprehensive objective at this stage. It just feels like a
Yeah.
big "F you" to all the people associated with the PGA Tour. Jay Monahan, you know, we know Greg Norman has a huge hard on for, how he feels the PGA Tour has treated him over the years, which is
Right.
fine, but you're really showing your hand at this stage. There doesn't seem to be many illusions that this is something other than that. But we could be
Very
wrong.
true.
But the history is what it is right now. Let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. We kind of merged a few topics early on in the show that were kind of associated with each other. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, like I said, it was a weird week this week in terms of, there wasn't a lot of just heavy news or anything super, super interesting or out of the norm. So, any other things that you
Yeah.
want to add in before we close it out for the week?
Yeah. Two things. Golf related. Nelly Corda showed she had the nails. Really screwed the pooch on like 15. Went in the water on a par three, straight swipe left. Like made a triple, was in single digits, and somehow managed to eagle birdie finish to get into a playoff. Went ahead on and win it and won it then. But just shows you maybe she is making that push back to try to be back in that number one spot instead of number four.
Yeah,
Looked really good on her. She looked like, I mean, overall, besides Sunday early, the swing in the game looked very perennial. And she had a few spots. It might have been the thing where you was talking about where she was too familiar with Megan Kane, because they were talking about it on Saturday. They were like, "Yeah, we're staying together, and like, maybe I won't talk to her." And they were real chatty patty about it. Like, maybe you
mm,
weren't as locked in. Maybe you needed a little seriousness or something like that. Maybe you needed to be playing with a rival. That way you'd lock in a little bit. But it all came out just fine. But of course, no way I go without speaking on Luca Masterclass 73 on Kobe's anniversary. Had to be
yeah,
said. And kudos to Luca because from the jump, he's always given the stars of the NBA their flowers, and he is a longtime Kobe fan. And he mentioned it without off rip. I don't even think when they interviewed him, I don't even think it was going that direction, but he made it that direction. It was special to him, and for him to perform like that, and we needed every point. So with Luca like that, I mean, it's scary hours. I want Kyrie to come back, but stay out as long as you need to be healthy. But it's a next couple of stressful weeks coming up for all middle tier basketball teams, wondering if they're going to be able to make that leap to contend.
yeah.
So Nico Harris, I don't know what you're going to do, my boy, but there's a lot of Mavs fans questioning what your ability is if you can't make any moves, or whether you're going to be trying to ride these coattails until the end of the year and then make big moves in the offseason. So, you got to be able to play your
Hmm.
cards right. And sometimes we need to make some moves. And I don't know if
I, we've
Grant,
talked about
Josh,
this.
Tim,
I don't think there's
Hal,
enough.
there's a lot of people.
I don't think there's enough pieces and that anybody else is interested in. That's the thing that I think is the tough part of
True.
the way the Mavericks are constituted right now. Is it a good team? Yeah, but the parts that people may want, you can't give them up, right? You can't really
True.
give
They
up
fit for
Kyrie.
our system good enough to where we need them, and they wouldn't do much value for other people. Correct. Agreed.
This is something that I thought about as soon as you mentioned the Kobe piece. That's one of those things that you absolutely remember where you were. when that happened. Um,
1,000%.
at least for me, and I was on the sixth. I was playing around. I was on the sixth hole of Tennyson Highlands in Dallas, Texas, and started getting alerts on my phone. And the guy I was playing with, we were walking that day. He's like, "Yeah, I just got a text from my girl who's really plugged in with the Lakers, and it's true." And I just remember us kind of just the next few holes being in the fog, not knowing, like, that's just a crazy feeling, right? Again, just one of those things where you absolutely remember where you were when that you got that news. Do you
Yeah.
recall where you were when that happened?
1,000%. 1,000%. I was serving. I was at the airport on my Sunday shift when it happened. And I'll be damned if the TVs all didn't flash to it because, of course, we're watching some type of sports or some type of news. So, I mean, literally 4 out of the 5 TVs in the front part where I was serving literally all had the foggy or like the cloudy sky, a bunch of,
Mm,
police and state troopers there at the bottom of the hill. We're getting all the alerts, and the whole time we're like, "Hey, anything I can do for you?" And even the customers and guests were like, "Did you see? Like, did you see what happened?" And we're like, "Not really. Like, I've been trying to serve, but like, what's up?" And then they were like, "Kobe passed him, like a helicopter crash." And so, like, we all start looking at the TV. The kitchen slows down. The serving slows down. It ain't much to do besides just really wonder what is life be without without Kobe,
yeah,
Gigi, and then like realizing that not only was it Kobe and Gigi, it was a whole AAU squad. It was a couple of coaches. It was a couple of other girls on that team, not just
yeah,
those two people that we're going to mention. And so, like, I thought a lot of different people came out that same day and did a very good, respectable job of like, it wasn't just Kobe, it wasn't just Gigi, it was these
yeah. From
names,
the
and you
beginning,
better not forget these names from the beginning. So, that put it in perspective for me. That made it even more emotional because it's like, damn, we lost Kobe, damn, we lost Gigi, but like these other girls were aspiring to be basketball players. These other
right?
people will
Whole
help out of
whole
being,
lives,
whole lives changed. The pilot, the pilot's family, all things like that were involved in that day. And yeah, I'll never forget 126-20. That
yeah.
was not a day to ever forget. And just like that, it's been 4 years. Like, and we keep moving. Like,
Your life keeps
golly,
always keeps
man.
moving, right? So
It just keeps
yeah,
going, man.
said it a while back. You better slow down and smell the flowers. Life doesn't slow down for any
Absolutely.
of us, so enjoy the people that you love and care about as much as you can. I know we all make mistakes, and we're not going to be perfect at it, but sometimes you need those reminders, and hopefully you're not getting that reminder at a time that it's too late to redeem a relationship or something that you said on the wrong side of something. So.
But
Think that's a good wind down, and
yeah,
another week with the Bearded Bros Golf Show. We'll be at
in the
it
books.
again. Regularly scheduled time on next Sunday. Have a break between the Super Bowl, and we'll figure out 2 Sundays from yesterday what we're gonna do around the Super Bowl time on that weekend. But up until then, catch you next week. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
Peace.